this video, so this is my third video like this about my journey to figure out what's going on with my cycle and just sharing tips along the way of like what you can do if you're having painful periods or irregular periods or some kind of cycle issue. So in this video, I am covering more about my blood work. So I got more results back, so I'm going to talk to you about those results and kind of what the next steps are. So let's get into it. Okay, we just got done with blood work. Samantha was my loyal friend who came, woke up very early because we got here at, well, she got to my house apartment
6:30?
6:30 a.m. What a woman. What a woman.
And I got coffee first.
Yes. So she was up early. We got here at like 6:45. It's 9 a.m. We had, well, 9:20. And we had just a nice little, we were reading in between, but it was awful. It wasn't as bad. Samantha thought I was going to have to drink 75 grams of sugar like every 30 minutes.
Yes! I was like, I would be sick.
Compared to that, it was nothing. I just had to drink the one at first, and it was not very fun, but...
You got through it.
Yeah, I did it. I managed it. You had 5 minutes to drink it. It was like 8 ounces, I think. Like one of those little, but...
He was like neon, so...
Yeah. I don't know if that was necessary. Like, do you have to?
Dude, does it have to be neon? Is that...
Yeah. But yeah, it all went good, so... Eat it up.
Eat it up.
I just got back from getting my blood done, and... my arms are bruised. They drew my blood 5 different times, and I hate getting my blood drawn, so I actually had my best friend go with me. And, hi kitten. Hi. What I did, I emailed the hospital beforehand because I just get anxious and I wanted to have her with me because it was going to be a 2-hour-long process. And I emailed them, I asked if at this hospital if they would allow me to have, you know, support person with me, and they said it was all good. So for those of you who are anxious and doing something similar, like, you can do that. You can ask, you could call, or you could email and just ask. If you have someone who's willing and able to go, that was so nice. I did have to call to schedule this in advance because this was like a glucose insulin tolerance test. So it's one of those things, if you've heard of it, where you drink like the 75 grams or whatever of sugar, and then it's like you're fasted before, and they take your blood before, and then after you drink it like multiple different times, 30 minutes later, 60 minutes later, 90 minutes later, 120 minutes later. So that's what I had done. It was scheduled for 7 a.m. I got there at like 6:40 and kind of checked in. And I also, so in combination with like insulin levels, glucose levels, they also were doing different thyroid things, TSH, T3, T4, all those for the thyroid, and progesterone. Progesterone was just taken fasting. I think that was all pretty much. But yeah, I'm hoping to get those results back soon, and curious as to what it will show, because I'm not fully sure why all of these were requested by my OBGYN. I know the thyroid stuff is like, she kind of suspects there could be something there, but yeah, it went well. It wasn't fun by any means, but it wasn't the worst thing ever. So I was able to like bring a book, and we didn't stay in the little room the whole time, the whole 2 hours. She just brought us in, drank, like pulled my blood, drank the 75 gram sugar stuff, and then she's like, okay, you can go, and you go back in the waiting room, wait the 30 minutes. We were just reading our books, and then she called us back in each time to draw the blood, because I wasn't sure how that was going to go, and that was kind of nice to not just be like on edge the whole time. But yeah, that went well, and I will be updating when I get the results. Alright guys, I got my results back for all my blood work, so I'm going to pull it up. My OBGYN messaged me because she got the results too on her end. So we are working on, I requested an appointment to go over everything, but it's taking some time because it's a small practice, so they're not opened every day. So they weren't opened on Monday because I only scheduled it like Friday. So I'm kind of waiting to see when that is going to be. But I'm gonna just show you, we'll talk about the results that I got. So for this batch of blood work, it was a glucose insulin tolerance testing type thing. If you've heard of it, it's like when you go in fasted for like 8 to 12 hours, and they take your blood then, fasted, and then you have to drink the 75 grams of sugar, water, whatever. It was not fun, but it was doable. It was okay. It ended up being in like 8 ounce, it was like a little 8-ounce water bottle almost, of like orange flavored sugar water. It didn't taste that bad or anything. You just had to drink it in under 5 minutes, and I just don't drink anything that fast, so that was just scary. But you take that, and then they drew my blood 4 more times after that, 30 minutes after that sugar water, and then 60 minutes after, 90 minutes, and 120 minutes. So it was like a little over 2 hours overall. Quite a long process, and I highly recommend that you bring a buddy like I did. My best friend, thank goodness, was able to go with me. Got up at like 5:30 a.m. So shout out to Samantha, because we all need a Samantha in our life. So the blood work that I got done was mainly like thyroid stuff, T3, T4, TSH. And then I did get progesterone. It wasn't like in with all of this stuff. I needed to do progesterone 7 days after ovulation, and it actually lined up perfectly, which was great. So I didn't need an additional stab, a couple days later. So progesterone, my 7 days post ovulation, and prolactin, and I think that was all. Yeah, that was all in this batch. So it wasn't a ton. It was mainly thyroid, progesterone, and prolactin. So all the thyroid stuff actually came back looking fine. Oh, and obviously glucose and insulin were tested. Glucose, insulin looked good. Thyroid stuff looked good, which I was surprised, because I was suspicious that I had thyroid stuff going on, because last year when I got my blood work done, we forgot to test one of the markers, but one of the markers for thyroid stuff, T3, it was T3 uptake or something, was a little bit off, but this time everything was well within normal ranges. And thyroid problems do run in my family, and that can definitely interfere with cycle issues. We look deeper than just like the main hormones, or like progesterone, estrogen, FSH, LH. We don't just look at like the female hormones. Thyroid hormones, all kinds of things could affect our cycles, because reproduction is a luxury. I grew up in my degree as in animal science, and that's something that's like common sense in that arena, is like reproduction is the very last piece of the puzzle, the top of the pyramid. So if there's something wrong with that, that means that underlying one of the deeper areas is not being met. Therefore, it's like, okay, we're putting that off, because that's a luxury only if all of the pieces are working properly. But anyways, taking a pause for my tangent. Like I said, pretty much everything was good, even progesterone, which my OBGYN was kind of wondering if I had low progesterone, and it was actually fine. The only thing that was really off was my prolactin. I had high prolactin, so my fasting prolactin was 44, and I believe like the high end of normal range is like 25. You want it at 25 or lower? Mine was 44. So that could definitely be a big contributing factor in my immense breast pain that I have in my luteal phase. So I'm going to, like I said, I'm in the process of getting an appointment set up to kind of discuss all that stuff. But yeah, so far one little piece that I have of the puzzle is that I have high prolactin, and from all my other testing, Really the only thing that was off was low potassium, so I'm focusing on foods to support potassium, and then we're gonna look into what we can do about the high prolactin. So I will update you about how the appointment goes. Let's ignore if I look a little scary. I just got done crying over a book. So side note, if you need a book recommendation, Firefly Lane is beautiful, but it will make you cry. All right, I've got to talk to you about potassium. So potassium is one of my few things that was off with my blood testing, and it was low. Upon further research, potassium is so important, especially for cramps, for period cramps. It can be linked to worse periods, worse cramps, more pain because of the role that potassium plays. It's an electrolyte, right? So it plays a role in the muscle contractions and everything. So low potassium, it can also cause things like fatigue. I feel like it's a big thing for me and for my journey, because who knows, I'm going to be working on this with my nutrition and see how my next period is, because I really wonder if the pain for my periods is because of this deficiency. So let this be encouragement for you. Hey, maybe potassium is something that you need to make sure that you're consuming more of. Some things that I'm really going to be focusing on eating would be sweet potatoes, and all potatoes in general are actually a pretty good source. Different juices are really good sources. Aloe juice is actually like a very good source. Strawberries are a decent source. There's quite a few things, and some leafy greens like Swiss chard and spinach are good sources. So I'm really going to be focusing on my nutrition and good electrolytes too, to really be meeting my potassium levels and see if this makes a big difference for me. So I was super excited about this. So I'm currently going through my little file that I put together for nutrition options and looking through all of the potassium options, and I am going based off of the things that I know I'll actually eat on here. And I think I'm gonna try to make some stuff with sweet potato, because that's a pretty good source of potassium, and eat more spinach, although this is 1 cup cooked of spinach and Swiss chard, so that's, you know, that's a lot in all reality. But I'm just going through, choosing some things on here to focus on. Ignore how I look because I have not fully gotten ready. But I'm choosing stuff off of there to really focus on. It's nice that there's really only one thing that I tested for that I'm low on, that I can just focus on that. So yeah, sweet potato, avocado, even regular potatoes. I think I'm gonna focus on those. Banana as well. I try to add spinach in everything that I eat, but you know, it takes a lot of that to really be a good source, but that's also a good source of other things. So yeah, I love this nutrition file that I put together. I kind of like to continually add to it, and there's a lot. There's just like foods that are high in the good polyunsaturated fatty acids and monounsaturated fatty acids, high in antioxidants, protein, vitamin A, like all the different things, and I list out all the different options, like how much serving size is to get to this amount. And this is a tool that I offer you if you do my one-on-one sessions. So my little shameless plug. If you do a one-on-one session with me to talk about your cycle issues or whatever, that's something that we go over, that I give you access to. And I really like it because there's just, it's like, okay, here's all these things. You can pick what you like to eat, because I, for one, am a picky eater, so I need options, because it doesn't matter how good kiwis are for you, I'm not going to eat them, so give me another option, you know. So yeah, that is kind of something that I'm doing, something that I'm focusing on.